I mean, come on, who the f else is it going to be? Look at these tattoos. You see that? Huh? You see that? That's right. For my final episode of the 10 albums in 10 days, we're going to talk about Devin Townsend. Now, this is going to be a long episode, the longest episode I'm anticipating, but I think that this deserves a full-blown discussion. Because although the specific album that is the focus of this list is Empath, you can't really talk about Empath without first discussing his previous works. So the beginning, I found Devin Townsend through Gojira. One day, I was looking up guitar tabs for Gojira on Ultimate Guitar, and I came across a song title I did not recognize. It hadn't been there before, and they hadn't released any new albums during this time, so I was like, ooh, what is this? So I gave it a wee Google. The song was Of Blood and Salt, and a YouTube video came up, and in the title of the video, it said featuring Devin Townsend and Frederick Thorndahl. I knew Frederick was from Meshuggah, but I had no idea who Devin Townsend was, had never heard of him, up until right now. As a side note, the EP that Of Blood and Salt was from was lost, I think due to a faulty hard drive, and if that's not the saddest thing that I've heard all day, oh, at least we got this song though, because if we didn't get this song, I may never have heard of Devin Townsend. After listening to it and realising that Devin does the vocals for the first half of the song, I gave him a wee Google and discovered the Devin Townsend Project. What an intriguing name! YouTube pointed me to two specific videos, which was March of the Poozers at the Royal Albert Hall and the EMG TV video of him playing Kingdom. And thus, my life was changed forever. From there, I watched the Deadhead at the Royal Albert Hall video and all of the EMG TV videos as well. And I learned two things. One, Devin Townsend is a complete goofball. And two, he's a f***ing genius. F*** me dead. The range that comes out of this man is incredible. You get everything from this man. Brutal metal, soothing harmonies, incredible vocals, uplifting lyrics, and just ooh. The ooh is a specific factor that you need in music. It took me 2 days to acquire his back catalogue from Ocean Machine onwards, not including Strapping Young Lad or his ambient work. With every album, you experience this wall of sound style of music with lyrics that contain so much meaning, and the thing that I've been harping on about for most of these videos, emotion. Every album is vastly different from others within Devin's discography. You have the pop metal kind of style with albums like Addicted, the chill style with albums like Ghost and Key. You have the chaotic and heavy as balls Deconstruction album, the metal musicals in Ziltoid the Omniscient and Dark Matters, and the very heartfelt Transcendence album. Ocean Machine is largely considered his masterpiece, and I would have to agree, though I will say that his earlier works can be kind of difficult for new listeners to get into due to the production, as they're not the best quality, and even Devin himself will admit that. But every album he's released under Devin Townsend Band, and Devin Townsend Project is absolutely worth your time. It will probably take you 2 or 3 days to listen to all of the music, because he's been recording for like 30 odd years, but if you've got the time, go for it. Just as a side note, I'm not going to be talking about Casualties of Cool or Strapping Young Lad, because the former is not really my style, and the latter is something that I'm only just now getting into, so I haven't got much to say there. I was truly sold on Devin Townsend after watching the Royal Albert Hall performance. I followed that up with the Retinal Circus show. Then I found the By the Thread concerts, which are the live performances of Key, Addicted, Deconstruction and Ghost, which are all amazing. And I had timed it beautifully, because shortly after I became properly invested in Devin Townsend, they released the Transcendence album. F*** me dead. I love this album so much. I mean, I love almost every Devin Townsend album, but still, this album changed me and my perception on life. I honestly believe, and this might sound hokey or stupid or whatever, but I believe that I have become who I've always meant to be by finding Devin Townsend. Whether he meant to with his music or not, Devin Townsend has helped a lot of people during difficult times, and I am absolutely no different there. I won't get into it because I don't want to bring the mood down, but I'll just say that I am much happier in myself now than I ever have been, thanks to Devin's music. When I met my fiance, I wanted to send her a Devin Townsend song, so I sent her From the Heart, which is from the Transcendence album. Now, we are getting married. It was supposed to be in September this year, but we've had to move it back to May 2021, thanks to COVID.
Humble brag.
And we plan to have From the Heart as our first dance. So isn't that lovely? Okay, so I've touched on his back catalogue, and I've rambled enough about him in general, so let's finally get on to Empath. The album is meant to represent the journey through bad times. Some of his previous works have sort of sugarcoated that idea, just saying that everything will be fine, don't worry about it. However, Empath is different. It takes you to those dark and difficult places, because then you can get rewarded properly by knowing that with effort you will be able to make it to the other side and the sun will shine again. So with that, we start our journey on an island. The ocean washing against the sands nicely, a soothing guitar by a campfire when the choir comes in as well. The opening track, Castaway, slides unnoticed into Genesis as a kick drum starts to get us ready for the album to properly begin. And dead, does it begin real big? Genesis sets the stage for the rest of the album, incorporating every element from all the other songs, all in one little tight little package. There are calm sections, funky parts, fast and heavy sections. Its massive chorus loudly proclaiming the beginning of the journey, the Genesis. It lets you know what to expect moving forward with the rest of Empath. Track 3 belongs to Spirits Will Collide, which you could say is the poppiest, the most generic metal song on the album, but ooh, good golly gosh, this is a powerful song. Its message is unequivocally anti-suicide, and it pulls right at the heartstrings with lyrics like don't you forget that you are loved, and remember the flame in your heart burns strong. Track 4 is titled Evermore, and this song sort of builds in intensity the same way that The Way Home from the Addicted album does, in that the guitars start mostly clean and grow in distortion and heaviness as the track progresses, really nailing home the final chorus of the song. I will return always, basically saying that no matter where we go, we will always be able to find our way back to where we're supposed to be. The sections that begin with the lyrics "Hey my dear" have these really like fiddly guitar parts that are mirrored by the incredible bass player. Watching the cover the guy did on YouTube is a really fascinating watch. I'll put a link up there and a link in the description for you to go watch it, because it's so cool. It's so cool. This song is just beautiful, and the way that it comes to a sudden stop, it really drives home its message whilst releasing you from its grip, allowing you to go on to the next song. Sprite starts with this wonderful little story that Devin apparently wrote when he was a child, and this particular version is read by the drummer of this track's father, who's I think in his 90s or so. It's very delightful. My fiance will tell you that no matter where I am or what I'm doing when I'm listening to this song, when it gets to the part of the story that's and one day a bear came around, I will always, without fail, say bear aloud. It's just a delightful story. The story is a metaphor. The character, being the bird, is down in the dumps. It can't do what it's supposed to be doing because of the problems that it's had in its life, but this motivation comes along that allows it to develop its courage to then really find itself and allow itself to fly once again. And that's what Sprite does for the listeners. It reminds you that everyone has problems, everyone has things that gets them down, and everyone has broken hearts at some point in their lives. But it also reminds you that by keeping on going, by not giving up, you are making progress, which is echoed in the final line of the song. Thank you for keeping trying. Slow progress is still progress. Saying that even the small steps on the road to recovery are big achievements. Tiny things like tidying your room can have a massive impact on your mental state and those sorts of things shouldn't be brushed aside or thought of as meaningless. However, not all journeys go without issues. The road to recovery can be difficult and have setbacks. Thus enters Hear Me, the heaviest song on the album. It is chaotic and frantic and downright dangerous. It reminds us that the world is bleeding, that hate is rampant, and there's not a lot that we can do about it, apparently. Except the little light at the end of the tunnel trying to scream out to remind us that there is light in this horrid darkness and that it just needs to be seen or heard. Hear Me is constantly thundering for 6.5 minutes. It does not let up for even a single second. And the next track is Why.
See what I did there?
Why, insert question mark, is where Devin goes full opera. Devin's lyrics quickly check up on us following the assault that is Hear Me, asking us if we're feeling alright because we're looking a little bit pale. Perhaps we might just want to go home. In fact, we aggressively demand it for a second. But we are asked why. Why run away? Why run away from our problems? They will only follow us because they are within us. Our pride will be our downfall. We need to confront our problems, the things that we hide from. Borderlands follows Why, allowing us to rediscover the light that we have briefly lost. It's allowing our inner self to shine, and shine brightly, as bright as a galaxy. But it also warns those who fear that light, those that are trying to stop you from being yourself, to dim your light, that they will feel woe. Devin sometimes has funny lyrics in his songs to add a bit of comedy to things. Things like Fetid and We All Rip Off Meshuggah. This particular song has a line that goes, got a little doggy and he's full of the woof woof. I have no idea what that means, but it's so good. After this, we get a little rest with some atmospheric orchestral music, which has some throwback lyrics to some of Devin's older songs. Most notably for me, the line, all we're offering is a chance to be loved, which is from Stormbending. And then, f*** me dead, have I been waiting to get to this point ever since I saw this concept on Facebook. Me wanting to do this list came from this song. The end of the difficult journey that we've gone through so far with Empath, the last epic song on the album, Singularity. To best experience this 20+ minute song, you have to listen to the entire album from the beginning up until this point, because Singularity starts the same way the whole album started, with the same guitar part that we originally had on the nice little beach at the beginning. A kind of hint that even though we've gone on this very long journey, we haven't moved very far, that perhaps we haven't even made any progress. However, Singularity is going to be our last chance, our final fight, our last hurrah. Strangely enough, I'm not going to talk about Singularity in a lot of detail because I don't think I can put it into words enough to do it any justice. There's too much going on with this song, too much happens that I can't really articulate how it makes me feel properly. All I will say is you are rewarded massively by listening to the whole of Empath. When you finally get to the last section of Singularity, the section specifically called Here Comes the Sun. The last line of the entire album, which rings out in beautiful, powerful delay, brings me to tears almost every time. There are a few songs that Devin has that I find difficult to sing along to because of the incredible amount of emotion that is within them, and the last chorus of Singularity might be the top of that list for me. I don't really want to spoil what the lyric is for people who haven't heard it, but f*** me dead, it is life-changing. And that's it. That is Empath. Thank you so much for watching this series. I had a surprising amount of fun putting these videos together. It took a lot of work, but I think I'm going to try and figure out some concepts so that I can do something similar in the future. I'm considering doing reaction videos, so if that's something that you'd be interested in, me watching new songs or listening to new songs, then let me know. I will probably do some of those. Let me know what you think of Empath and Devin Townsend in general down in the comments below. We'll have a wee discussion about it. Here is the outro screen. There is a playlist to the entirety now of the 10 albums in 10 days list. There's also a video that YouTube is recommending to you specifically. Stay safe, wear a goddamn diggly face mask, and peace be to all of you. Thank you so much. I love your face and you in general.